Fox 61 News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, the New Haven Police Department facing a lawsuit after a man is paralyzed while in police custody. How much they're being sued for and what else the plaintiffs seek.
Plus, an arrest is made in connection to a homicide from over the summer where a local woman was found shot in an apartment. We have details on the suspect.
Plus, the Alex Jones defamation trial continues, and tonight, emotional testimony from 2 Sandy Hook parents who lost their son in that tragedy.
Plus, Floridians are bracing for Hurricane Ian. We're following the latest track of the storm. We're at Bradley International Airport talking with people who are taking some of those last-minute flights out.
Good evening and thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Well, all eyes are on Florida right now as Americans in the southeast are preparing for Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, let's take a live look right now at the current conditions at the port of St. Petersburg. A little gloomy out right now. It'll be a different story in just a matter of hours as that storm nears the state.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with a look at what it's like out there. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, already getting some of the outer rain bands in Florida and even some tornado warnings in some of the outer rain bands too. And we just got the 5 o'clock advisory in and we've seen a slight shift in the track a little bit farther to the south, which we'll show you in just a little bit. But the storm has winds of 120 miles per hour. Clearly defined eye moving to the north at 10 miles per hour. It's a Category 3 hurricane, and unfortunately the storm is still expected to strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane as it approaches landfall between Fort Myers and Tampa. This cone was a little bit larger for the last update, and it was also extending a little bit farther to the north. But where exactly the storm makes landfall, is it closer to Fort Myers or closer to Tampa, would still have very big implications on people living in this area, because where it makes landfall, and especially areas just to the south and east of where the eye comes onto land, is where the worst storm surge is going to be. But hurricane conditions already will be underway through the course of the morning in Florida, and it looks like the storm will make landfall during the afternoon or early evening here. This is Wednesday at 2 p.m. The storm getting closer to the Florida coastline with winds of 130 miles per hour. After that, the storm does weaken as it moves inland, still producing very heavy rainfall, but away from its source of energy, which is the open water. It may end up going back out into the Atlantic and making another landfall if it's closer to the eastern side of this track, or it could stay farther inland. We're not expecting anything major here at home from Hurricane Ian, but we'll take a look and see how this may impact us down the line coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. And as we continue to track Hurricane Ian, millions of Florida residents have been ordered to evacuate ahead of the storm. Fox 61's Raquel Harrington joins us live from Bradley Airport, where she spoke with travelers who made their departure just before Ian's arrival. Raquel.
Yes, good evening. You see the flights here at Bradley International along with Tweed New Haven Airport have been canceled and delayed, and officials say they're expecting that to be even more in the next coming days. Passengers in airports are preparing for Hurricane Ian to make landfall.
At the end, what it comes down to is safety of everybody.
While airports here in Connecticut aren't directly impacted by the storm, some of their flights are.
In the coming days, there will be cancellations and delays, especially in the regions that are more heavily impacted by the hurricane.
This family is coming home from Tampa.
We were very nervous. We definitely didn't want to get stuck there. We were very anxious for everything.
She says many people had the same mindset, and it was a mad dash at the Tampa airport, especially now with operations at the Tampa airport shut down ahead of the storm.
It was definitely very crowded, lots of people trying to leave the area. Even the flight attendants were stressed out.
She says the crowded airports was just a glimpse of what it's like traveling ahead of a hurricane.
Our hotel was evacuating, so we kind of left right in time, or else we would have had to go.
While some are fleeing the storm, others we spoke with at Tweed New Haven Airport are heading towards it on one of the last flights out of Orlando, either to help.
So I'm actually on a work trip, and I'm going down to Orlando to help set up supplies and Wi-Fi for the hurricane shelters.
Or simply return home.
Seen enough storms. I'm not concerned.
We had those back-to-back hurricanes, one right after another, so if you're in Florida, you know how to prepare.
Connecticut airport officials say it's important to keep an eye on the weather.
Obviously, we're watching the weather very closely, as I'm sure people are in Florida, given the severity of the storm. But the storm track is changing, and obviously we have to stay on this.
All right, so airport officials emphasize that when it comes to these delays and cancellation decisions, it does not directly fall on the airport. It comes down to those airlines, and they make those final decisions. So if you are traveling out and you're a little hesitant on if your flight will be canceled or delayed, they say you want to stay in contact with your airline and keep updated on all of that. Now, we're going to have more information online and on our Fox 61 News app under this story. We're live in Windsor Lock. Raquel Harrington, Fox 61 News.
All right. Thank you, Raquel. Well, attorneys for the family of Randy Cox announced a $100 million civil lawsuit against the city and 5 officers involved in the case. Cox was paralyzed while in New Haven police custody in June.
And now the negotiations begin. Fox 61's New Haven County Bureau reporter Tony Tersey joins us live from outside City Hall, where the press conference announcing the lawsuit took place today. Tony.
Took place at high noon today. Hello, Brent. Sarah, good afternoon to you at home. Well, today Cox's family said that he's likely to remain a paraplegic for the rest of his life and being in and out of hospitals. Very costly. That's why they set the number where they did in this civil suit. Randy Cox's attorney, Ben Crump, says he and his legal team have filed a $100 million lawsuit against the city and 5 police officers they say are responsible for Cox becoming a paraplegic. The goal of both sides is to settle.
Now, if they don't want to do it, that's fine by us, because the family is resolute. They're ready to go all the way. And we believe a jury will give in excess of $100 million when they hear all the facts laid out.
Today, the 29-page civil lawsuit was officially filed in federal court.
I've directed the city's corporation counsel, Pat King, who is here, to work as expeditiously as possible to ensure that we have an appropriate outcome.
The city's lawyers met with Cox's legal team before today's noon press conference.
We don't have any conclusion whether or not we're going to have to fight them every step of the way to get the full measure of justice.
Crump represented the family of George Floyd, who filed a $100 million civil suit against the city of Minneapolis and officers involved in that case. But it was settled for $27 million. But the difference here is the victim is still alive and needs round-the-clock care.
Our experts say for him to have the basic quality of life, it's $20 to $30 million.
One of Randy Cox's sisters said during the press conference today that she had spoken to the mayor and the police chief, who said they will do right by Randy. And before finishing speaking, she added, but we don't want lip service. We're live outside City Hall in New Haven. I'm Tony Tersey, Fox 61 News.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Also today in court, new evidence, emotional testimony, and a better timeline to the Alex Jones defamation trial.
Yeah, a trial based on Jones's lies that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax and the parents were actors. Fox 61's Matt Caron has been covering this case since the start. He joins us live from Waterbury now to once again take us inside the courtroom. Matt?
Yeah, hi guys. And today the plaintiff's attorneys once again made the point that Alex Jones profited from his Sandy Hook lies. During today's testimony, 2 Sandy Hook parents ended up taking their stand. Ian and Nicole Hockley. Their son Dylan was killed in Sandy Hook.
Being with my kids and having, just that time with them was very precious.
Nicole Hockley described Dylan's difficult birth, his health challenges bonding mother and son beyond measure.
You got through this. I will never let anything happen to you.
But then came December 14th, 2012. Dylan's dad, Ian, was at the office.
My manager came into my room and he knew that the boys went to Sandy Hook School, and which I confirmed, and he just said, we need to go.
It didn't take long for the lies of Alex Jones to penetrate their most private grieving moments. Pictures of Ian smiling during Dylan's memorial service were used as social media fodder for the hoax conspiracy.
Just look at his dimples, never cried once.
A conspiracy that haunts Ian to this day. Just last year, this business card placed on his vehicle during a mundane shopping trip.
Did you ever find out who put this on your car?
No.
The ridicule changed the Hockleys' perception of safety.
This is really real, and this could be really dangerous.
And altered their everyday behavior.
I certainly wouldn't mention I was from Sandy Hook, and Newtown's too well a name known connected with it, so I just leave it Connecticut.
But one thing it didn't change was the couple's commitment to honoring Dylan's memory, starting the foundations Dylan's Wings of Change and Sandy Hook Promise.
But they had so much life that they could have lived.
And in another key court moment, a new, revealing piece of evidence about what the employees of InfoWars really thought about the Alex Jones show. An audio deposition of the former producer, Nico Acosta, why he couldn't take it anymore.
There were just too many things to describe. The coverage that they were doing, their lack of ethics in doing the coverage that they were doing, the effect that I could see it having out in the world.
So testimony just wrapped up and court adjourned just a short time ago. We also learned in court today that Alex Jones, who we thought would testify sometime this week, actually will not be back on the stand until next week. His attorney, Norm Pattis, tells me he thinks either Tuesday or Wednesday. We're live here outside Waterbury Superior Court. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
Well, new tonight, Waterbury police have identified the suspect wanted in connection to a homicide outside a grocery store. Police say they've obtained an arrest warrant for 22-year-old Gelson Cruz. He's wanted in connection to the homicide of Jordan Savage. Cruz allegedly shot and killed the 26-year-old in the parking lot of Colonial Grocer on September 13th. Anyone with information about Cruz and the incident should contact police.
And new tonight, Hartford police have arrested a man on murder charges after a woman was shot and killed last month. That woman, Adelaida La Torres, was found shot inside an apartment on Colonial Street. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect, Wesley Mendez, had been considered a person of interest since the very beginning of the investigation. He was arrested Monday. He's being held on $2 million bond.
Well, still